Welcome to the Well Woman Show, where motivated women achieve fulfillment and well-being.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show.
You're going to be in for a good ride.
I'm a woman. I would prefer to tell my own story. My story, though it's very personal, is universal.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show. And now your host, Giovanna Rossi.
It's the Well Woman Life Fearless Week, May 29th through June 4th. Join me, Giovanna Rossi, for this 7-day jam-packed fearlessness challenge. And what you can expect to gain from participating is less self-doubt, less self-criticism, more focused time to spend on things that really matter, more clarity about what you want and how to get there, more energy to implement what you want, and also a community. You know, if you have been involved in Well Woman Life community events or the show, that the community really is what makes this a special group and a special experience. So join us over in the Facebook group, wellwomanlife.com/fearless. And we start on May 29th. I'd love to see you there. Hello, Well Women. Giovanna Rossi here. And this is a Just Giovanna episode where we dive into a topic that I choose. And we have no interview. So we just are going to talk today about using your unique strength to leverage support. And I love this topic because it really aligns with everything that we talk about on the Well Woman Show, which is to be aware of what's going on with you and also to develop a lot of self-compassion and self-love. And this definitely does both of those. And when we recognize our unique strength, then we can leverage it to support what we're trying to do in the world. And on the Well Woman Show, we really focus on support in the areas of intimacy. So that is your relationship with yourself or with others. And the second area is income. So developing your career, your business, basically your money goals. And then the third area is impact. And that is making an impact in your community and even on a global scale. So in order to do that, we really do need to understand what our unique strengths or superpowers are. And we may think we know what they are, but I'm going to lead you through finding and accepting one or two or more of your unique strengths or superpowers that you may not have thought of as a strength before. So, and maybe you have, but you need to revisit this. So that's what we're going to dive into today. I want to let you know that the Well Woman Jumpstart is available now. You go to wellwomanlife.com/jumpstart. And it's really fun because it's a quick little, basically a quick little product that we've been able to offer now that helps you get connected to the Well Woman Life community a little bit more, and also leads you through the Well Woman transformation framework in a deeper way so that you can really start using it. So check that out for sure. And let's proceed with the show here today. When we recognize and accept our unique strengths, we can use them to leverage support for our ideas and for our goals in the areas of intimacy, income, and impact. Those are the three domains that I talk about a lot on the Well Woman Show. They're also known as personal, professional, and public service. It's the same thing. I just use different words sometimes. So today we're going to talk about intimacy, income, and impact, but specifically we're going to talk about how you can really recognize and then use those unique strengths that you have that you might not know are your strengths. So I want you to, if you're able, if you're driving, don't do this. You can do it later. But if you're able to, pull out a piece of paper and write down what you are or were always, when you were younger, told that you are too much of. So this is, the things that your parents or your teachers always told you that you were too much of, like you're too quiet, you're too loud, you're too nosy, you're too shy, you're too this, you're too that. Everyone has experienced this. And so I want you to write these down. Write down at least 2 of them. That will give you some things to work with, but you might have a whole list, right? So go ahead and jot those down, and also write down what you were told you shouldn't do. Like, you shouldn't talk so much. You shouldn't cry. You shouldn't be so serious. You shouldn't be so silly. You shouldn't be so hyper. You shouldn't be so calm. So write down all, 1 or 2 of those as well. And let's kind of reflect on those. And while you're jotting those down or thinking about them, I'm going to tell you a story about a guest I had on my show. And you can go back and listen to this at wellwomanlife.com/095 show. It was actually with Amy Porterfield, a very well-known and successful marketer. And she's lovely. I loved having her on the show. It's a great interview. And at some point during the interview, she said, we were talking and it was, I think it was part of the Superpowers for Success segment where I asked guests about their definition of success and other things. She said something like she wished she wasn't such an introvert. And it was kind of an aside. It was sort of a part of another conversation within the interview. And I responded by saying, oh, well, your introversion is probably your biggest asset. And I felt like there was just silence. I don't know how long. I'll have to go back and listen to that. But it felt like she was sort of, she sort of paused and said, oh, right. And it was kind of a big surprise to her that I would say the thing she thought was her biggest obstacle was actually likely her biggest asset. And so that is what we are talking about here today, about recognizing and accepting our unique superpowers or strengths. And so she said, oh, well, I don't know. I always thought being an introvert was something I needed to overcome, something that was bad. And I said, well, you probably benefit a lot from your introversion. For example, you're very observant, you're very thoughtful, you analyze what you're doing. She's an incredible marketer. She can, understand where people are coming from and what they need, probably because she has those introvert qualities. And so that was that was actually a really cool aha moment on the show between me and a guest. And again, if you want to listen to that, it's 095 show. You can go back and check it out. I'm so thankful for support from Natural Awakenings Magazine in New Mexico, a monthly green, healthy lifestyle publication, and for support from High Desert Yoga, promoting optimum physical health, clarity of mind, and spiritual inspiration for all. Whether you're just starting your journey or you've been on it for months or even years, the Well Woman Jumpstart is a great place to begin. So you might want to know, what's the outcome? How will I benefit from this? If you want to reach the income, impact, or intimacy goals you have, you can jump right in with this awesome jumpstart. You'll learn what your unique superpower is, which is super important for everything else you'll be working on in your life. You'll learn proven tools to address your particular challenge. You'll get real clarity about your life and your big goals and challenges. And you'll get to talk to me, Giovanna, one-on-one, and I'll give you feedback and insight specifically on your goal or challenge. If you're ready to jump in, go to wellwomanlife.com/jumpstart. By now you should have, on your piece of paper, you should have written down what you were always told you are too much of, and what you were told you shouldn't do. So now what we're going to do is part 2 of this little exercise. And I want you to, in front of your too much words, write down my superpowers are, and then you'll have the words that you said you were too much of. So it should read something like, my superpowers are being quiet, being introverted, being too loud, being too nosy, being too shy, whatever you wrote down. Those are actually your superpowers. Those are your unique superpowers. That's what makes you you. Like, if you didn't have those, who would you be? And I understand sometimes we need to be able to adapt or change or not, not have them be so prominent depending on what we're trying to do and what our situation is. But in general, those things that you wrote down, those are who you are. And that's not changing anytime soon. That's the core, right? The core doesn't change. You can change the circumstance, how you use it, when you use it, and those kinds of things. And you can leverage those to your benefit. That is what we're talking about today. So you've got that written down. My superpowers are, and then I want you to cross out the words I shouldn't. If you wrote that down, you should have written that down earlier. Like, I shouldn't be so loud. I shouldn't talk so much. I shouldn't cry. So I want you to cross out the words I shouldn't and write I can. So now the way it reads is, I can talk so much. I can cry. I can be serious. I can be silly. I can be hyper. I can be calm. All of the things that you can be. And this reframing and rewriting will help you embrace and really love those qualities about yourself that you've always been told are no good. And so what we're doing is we're reclaiming that for ourselves, right? So the fact that you have these traits who make you uniquely you, those are your assets. How you use them and when you use them is the real key, right? So, and not being in a fight with them, not being at war with them, not trying to make them go away all the time. It's a huge relief when you do accept those parts of yourself and say, that's who I am. That's me. They're your unique strengths or superpowers, as we call them on the Well Woman Show. And the sooner you accept them and embrace them, the sooner you will have more compassion and love for yourself. And the sooner you'll find your own power and really be able to stand in your power. You can use this strength to really leverage support in the areas that you need it. So, for example, the awesome thing about being an introvert is that you observe, you listen, you really hear people, and you listen to yourself and what you really want in the world. And then your actions can be powerful representations of your purpose because they're aligned with that inner knowledge and that inner wisdom. Similarly, if you're an extrovert, that is your strength. So love it up, embrace it. Know that talking too much is actually your biggest gift, and dig deep to understand how to use that gift in your relationships, in your career or your business, and in making an impact in the world. And So if you have questions about this, I want you to come on over and join us in the Well Woman community group. It's wellwomanlife.com/Facebook. And over there, we'll be continuing this conversation and talking about some of the things that we have uncovered. And if you want to dive into this even more with me and with a group of awesome women, then save the date for September 13th and 14th in beautiful New Mexico. You can go to wellwomanlife.com/retreat to get on the early notification list for when we open registration this summer. It's the 2019 Superpower Retreat, and it's the 5th annual. We have been doing this for 5 years now, and it's really a great couple of days in a beautiful setting and surrounded by women who are like you, like us, highly motivated to stand in our power and have our voices heard and have all the things that we want, whatever they are, right? And that it differs depending on what it is that you want in your life. But usually they boil down into 3 big areas: your intimacy, your income, and your impact. And we work in those 3 areas and really have some major transformations. And it's so fun. We drink wine or tea. Not everybody drinks, but we definitely have a good time. And you'll want to get on the early notification list so that you get that as soon as it opens this summer. wellwomanlife.com/retreat. And I am so thankful for our sponsors of this show, Natural Awakenings Magazine and High Desert Yoga. If you're interested in a sponsorship, email info@wellwomanlife.com. And don't forget to register for Well Woman Drinks. It's the 3rd Wednesday of every month, in person or virtual. You can go to wellwomanlife.com/events to register. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll catch you next time. That's it for our show today. Remember, if you need support to live your Well Woman life, head over to wellwomanlife.com/Facebook to join us. Our monthly live event, Well Woman Drinks, brings women together to share our successes and challenges as women, leaders, moms, aunts, sisters, and all the other roles we carry. If you'd like to attend a Well Woman Drinks near you, or if there isn't one in your city yet and you'd like to start one, email info@wellwomanlife.com. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment and subscribe in iTunes and leave a review. This helps raise visibility, which is super helpful when it comes to producing the show every week. For feedback, comments, or just to let me know you were listening today, find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram @WellWomanLife. I'm Giovanna Rossi for The Well Woman Show. Until next time, have a super powerful week.